Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start a games controller project. So what you can do is you're going to jump from the landing page onto a new document now. You're going to go and create document and you're going to call it games controller. Oh, call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call mine games controller. I'm just going to give that a minute to load up. Okay, so what you might want to do before we start the actual modeling is you might want to get a couple of pictures of existing games controllers, like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo controllers, just so you can familiarize with yourself if you're not already familiar with the shapes and the general forms of them. Or you can do a bit of work beforehand and design your own. Maybe you've got a unique idea that you want to work with. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the basics of the general controller. Um, the way we can do this, we're going to do one big extrude to start with, and then we're going to do two extrude removes. So that's going to be the basic principle of what we're doing. First of all, I'm going to start a sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to draw half of my controller. You're probably going to want to spend a bit more time than me on doing this, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw what I think is going to be a basic shape for my controller. I might put a slight round on there and trim the excess off, and then I'm going to fill it up each of these corners. So it's all nice and round. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror this sketch. So I'm going to click on my mirror tool here. I'm going to click on my mirror line. There is a more in-depth video for sketching mirrors in the Onshape tutorial series. And all I'm going to do now is click and drag around my shape, and I'm generally quite happy with that. I'm just going to trim that mirror line out. Yeah, I think that's all right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to press extrude. If you're having trouble with the extrude, what you've done is you've not quite closed your shape. So, like you can see with mine, these lines went all the way up to the mirror line. If you've got a gap, or if it's not quite a fully closed shape, if it's not grayed out, all you need to do is go around, zoom in, find the gap where you've not got a line connected, and then just use the line tool to join it up. Okay, pause the video at any point if you're not following along or you're just spending more time on this than me. But next, when you've got a shape that you're happy with, I'm going to press extrude, and I'm going to extrude it symmetrically. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to, I'm not going to turn symmetric on. I think it's going to be easy for me if I leave that. And I'm going to make it a bit bigger than what I think is sensible. I think that's probably a sensible size. Once I've filleted all my edges, so that's about 33. I'm going to make mine 40. Because we're going to be doing a bit of cutting, we're going to cut some of this away. So what I've got now is, well, it's technically a prism. I've made a 2D shape, and I've just pulled it out. I've extruded it to be a 3D shape. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the right plane. So you're going to click on the right plane, press N, and now we're going to cut some of this profile away into what I like to describe as a sort of a comma-like shape. So you've got that curvature, you've got that curved profile on the front and back. So I'm going to do a sketch on my right plane, and I'm going to use the spline tool. I'm probably going to want it nice and broad at the front, and I want to keep all my lines inside the shape. I don't want any to go out because that's going to look a bit weird when we finish this off. So I'm just going to click round, and I'm being super careful. I'm going to come in a little bit. And I'm going to make this corner a little bit tighter than I did my top corner. And you're going to do what you think's right, what you think looks right. Now, yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. What I have done is, oh, I've gone a bit rogue over here, so I'm just going to use my trim tool. I'm going to go into it. Oh dear, that's not liked it, has it? Um, I'm just going to try and fix that best I can. And in a moment, what I can even do is fill it off some of these rough edges. So where I've just become disconnected, this might happen, where I've got that corner not quite flowing. I can put a fillet in there just to make sure that's nice and neat. And over here, I mean, no one's going to notice that, but we'll do it for the sake of sake of benefit anyway. Now, we're going to do an extrude. The issue I've got, however, is let's turn that to 30. Oh dear. No, we won't. The issue I've got is that if I try and extrude that, it's going to extrude everything in this line, and I am going to extrude it symmetrically, and I am going to remove it. It's cut out the wrong bit. It's left all the outside and left the inside. So what I actually need to do is go back into the sketch. It's dead easy. All I need to do is draw a box all around the outside. There you go. And now what's actually selected is all the inside of this box has gone grey. Everything in the middle of the shape has been left a bit like, well, I say like a donut, a square donut with a weird hole in the middle. Um, but we've got the outside selected. That's why we need to draw a bigger shape around the outside so we can select all this. Um, and then I should be able to click extrude. And as you can see, it is the right bit that's extruding now. I'm going to click remove. I'm going to click symmetric. So it pulls out both ways. I'm going to click my tick. And now I've got a nice little profile for my shape of my controller. The only thing I need to do is now is I'm going to go on the top I'm going to go into the top plane and I'm going to draw half a sketch. So let's have a look. Again, only going to start here. And I'm probably going to use my arc tool rather. In fact, if you want to do this the proper way, what you're going to do is right on the edge here. So zoom in as far to the edge as you can go. You're going to draw just a straight line and then press escape. What we can do now is in the arc drop down, so it defaults to 3-point arc. In the drop down, you've got something called tangent arc. And what that does is if you click at the end of a line, this arc is going to begin being a continuation of that line and it's going to flex. Now, this is really important because when we mirror this, we want it to be absolutely horizontal so we don't get any unwanted creases in our design. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do quite a gentle curve on the front. And I'm going to do a bit of a steeper curve on the back. So again, I'm going to draw I'm going to have it into about there, I reckon. I'm going to draw my horizontal line out, click my tangent arc, and it's going a little bit steeper. And then it doesn't matter how, but you're going to join these two lines up. Trim these two initial lines that we started with, or you might need to zoom all the way in. And then you're going to close the shape off by drawing a vertical line to there. Last thing you can do is, in fact, you're not going to draw that vertical line there. What you're going to do instead is you're going to draw a line straight up. You're going to bring it round, just so we've got highlighted again everything that's not in our design, everything we want to get rid of, okay? Which is just actually this section here and this section here. What I'm going to do once I've done that to one side, because I do want it perfect and symmetrical, I'm going to mirror it. So mirror tool, select my mirror line, which should be the front plane, or is it the right plane? Highlight everything. I don't think it matters, but I'm just going to trim these off. So I've got one solid shape here, and I'm going to remove that symmetrically so it goes up and down. Now, I've got the basis of a shape for my controller. If you want, you can go around and you can fillet some of these lines, especially the edge lines. I will warn you, this can get really tight and really tricky. So just have a play about with it, see how far you can get the fillets to go. Mine are broken on 12, I'm going to go down to 10. Still 10's broke. I'm going to go to 8 works, let's try 9. We'll stick with 8. So I'm going to do that on both sides. Remember, everything should be symmetrical here. Apparently I'm not going to do that on both sides. I'm going to do it on one side, and I'm going to try and do it individually on the other side. Which, here we go. Right, there we go. That should be exactly the same. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it in the same fillet. And what I've got there is the base of a games controller. What we're going to do in the next sessions is we're going to put buttons on it. We're going to make sure they're nice and flush to the screen. We're going to put a split line down it, and we're going to do something with the interior. So we're going to shell it, we're going to make it hollow, and we're going to put some ribs and brackets in, and eventually, hopefully, it's going to look like the real thing. So I'll see you in the next video. If you want to change your design or do anything else to it in the meantime, then please feel free. And if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.